Hey guys, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back with match 3 on BUG Zenith. On the play, which is really nice, against CWOJ. This is one of those hands where Dryad Arbor keeps coming up as a land drop in our hand, where we kind of want to end the deck for Green Sun Zenith and fetch lands. This is an interesting one. So we do have Force online, which is nice. We do have a beater in Tarmogoyf, and we do have enough mana to do whatever we want for the rest of the game, pretty much. So I think I'm going to keep this. I'm probably just going to lead on the Verdant Catacombs. Leading on the Dryad Arbor is nice, but it could open up something like a Lightning Bolt turn 1, which I guess isn't the greatest, isn't the worst either, because it just makes the Goyf a little bit bigger down the line. I think we're actually just going to go Dryad Arbor pass. It is of course more susceptible to removal than our other lands, but having a double fetches is nice as well. Flooded Strand, interesting. Ponder's going to be fine. Most likely some sort of Snowcoo deck we're looking at. So I think this Misty might just go and get a basic snow-covered island, and then we'll play the Goyf. Green Suns is always interesting. Looking at our list, we have a few things we can get. Probably saving it for Leovold at this point. Courser is interesting. Courser makes me kind of want to get a Tundra with the Misty. Then we can cast Goyf this turn and then just get a basic Swamp if we want next turn. Goyf's a card that I've been trying out just as a 2-drop beater. I think it's pretty good right now. Courser of Kruphix is nice because although it's very fair, the 2/4 body is great in an Oko meta where there's a bunch of 3/3s around. It also means that if we have Plague Engineer on Elk, then they can't really attack into the Courser too well. Snow-Covered Forest is interesting here. I think I like casting the Courser pre-combat, because if it gets countered, it adds most likely instant and enchantment to the bin and creature. So pretty great upside there. Force on top. Okay. To be fair, this could also just be a Miracles deck, and Terminus would be pretty good here for my opponent, so we'll see how this ends up. Probably more happy to see Oko than anything else. Back to basics would be interesting as well. Petal, okay. This then could be Sneak Attack. Show and Tell, huh. I guess we have to force this. The funny thing is that then we don't have anything to put into play other than the Verdant Catacombs. I wonder if that changes how I would have played if I knew this was going to be a sneak and show matchup. I can only assume they have counter magic here. So this could just be a pretty quick game 1, unfortunately. Opponent dazing. Can't pay the 1. Alright, let's go for Verdant. It is Sneak Attack, okay. I guess the greedy play is looking at Ice-Fang Coatl, but they probably just draw 7, find the Emrakul, and just play the Emrakul as well. So unfortunately, that's just a concession there. Probably a concession anyway if the Grizzlebrand hits, but let's see how this goes. I do like Flusterstorm. I like taking out the Decays. Veil's actually quite interesting on the play because it means we can't have stuff countered. I don't mind Click either. Click seems really nice in this matchup. Pithing Needle might be needed just on sneak attack. I think it's good enough for this matchup. I can see Courser being taken out. Just a bit too slow. Scavenging Ooze as well. I do like Karakas in this matchup. Questing Beast is interesting, but maybe a little bit too slow. I think Aurora is probably too slow as well. That's actually 61, and of course we have ended this league with 61, so we might just see how this goes. Collector Ouphe is interesting because it turns off Lotus Petal, but that's really it. I think we can play with this and be pretty happy that we don't have to play Collector Ouphe. They are playing Snow-Covered Basics. I don't think they'd be playing Astrolabe. Maybe it's worth dropping one card like Plague Engineer, which isn't that great. Just to have Collector Ouphe in the deck. And then maybe Tireless Tracker is actually better than the Plague Engineer, because at least we can draw cards off it. I'm happy with this. One card I kind of do miss from the sideboard is something like Knight of Autumn or Force of Vigor. Some way to interact with Sneak Attack or Omniscience off Show and Tell. I think Ascent is okay. The Force of Negation is really nice because we can cast it turn 2 with Gilded Goose, so I'm going to keep this. I kind of want to draw into a second blue card here, so we can hopefully go Gilded Goose into Oko and then just hold up Veil with Force. I guess another land would be nice as well. But we also have to have the Gilded Goose online as well. So my plan here is most likely just probably basic Forest into Underground Sea, Oko. I kind of also want to have the Force Negation up, so maybe I want to go for a Trop here. Then we have the double blue for Force Negation as a hard cast. Gilded Goose probably isn't always going to be online, so I don't mind, you know, not playing into Blood Moon. If I was really scared of a turn 1 kill, I'm sure I could hold up Force Negation with Veil, but happy to try to build out my board here. They'll need something like Lotus Petal and Soul Land, and Scalding Tarn doesn't really do it, unless they have more Lotus Petals in hand. Leovold's pretty interesting. So if I play the Oko, I can create a food straight away to make sure the Gilded Goose is online. They didn't ponder or brainstorm turn 1. Or at least they didn't ponder. They wouldn't brainstorm turn 1. Either way, the card left in hand is most likely being pitched to Force if they try to go off next turn. I also have the option of just pass, create a food in the end step, and then just play the game out with Veil up at all times. Which I think is probably playing a little bit too slow. I don't think I have that luxury. I think I have to play something out here. I think it might just be Oko. If I had a... If If I had a if I had a green source, I could actually keep it for show and tell. But I think having the Leovold's nice. Interesting, just a pass. So this is pretty nice for us. Questing Beast. Playing a land for sure. The only issue is that I can't play a Leovold and hold up Veil of Summer. I think I'm happy to create a food token. And now I can actually just hold up Force of Negation and Veil of Summer. Leovold's also pretty interesting. I just don't know if I have the actual balls to tap out here, to be frank. I kind of like holding up the Force and Veil. And then if they do nothing... I guess 3/3 their Lotus Petal is also a pretty nice play. Brainstorm is interesting. That's going to be fine. I feel like this ponder means they don't have a fetch land. They needed a way to shuffle. Maybe they found that off the... Food's also nice for Emrakul. Means we can just sack it at will. I don't mind the Astrolabe here. Has to come off a Snowland, of course. Alright then, let's make a food. Sadly, this Karakas is just playing with our mana a little bit, where we can't tap out for Leovold and also hold up Veil of Summer. Just a pass. Interesting. Delta's nice. Crack this for a basic island. Play Astrolabe. Tick up on food. Put them down to 10. And now we can cast Oko and also hold up Veil of Summer. I'm going to hold up Karakas as well. So Karakas can also hold up Astrolabe, which is nice. If they force this, that's more than fine. I'm not going to fight over this. Because if they force or fetch, they're also going down to lethal, because the extra food next turn is just going to be lethal. So happy to allow this. I could very much be just too patient in this matchup. Maybe slamming the Leovold was early and just taking the risk of them just having it on the turn that we tap out for. And then just you concede. Okay, so obviously just didn't really have anything. At least we didn't really show that we have, you know, Veil or Force of Negation in the deck. We really only showed that we have Force of Will in game 1. I think I'm pretty happy just running this back. No changes. Just making sure we have some sort of interaction in our hand. Because this deck can be pretty fair, which is a weakness against decks like Sneak and Show. Really relying on those counter spells to make sure we can play a fair game on the board, but try to keep a non-fair game off the stack. Needle's interesting as well. I could see people naming Grizzlebrand, but I think just naming Sneak Attack is fine because we don't have a great answer to it. We don't really have a way to deal with it because Oko can't, of course, hit enchantments. We can bounce it with Brazen Borrower, which is interesting. We can also bounce an Emrakul. The issue is if they have 2 red mana and Sneak Attack and Emrakul, you have to do it before they declare attacks because then they get the Annihilator trigger. But if you do it before they declare attacks, they can also just put it back in with the other red mana and attack anyway. Green Suns is interesting as well. There's nothing that we're really going for straight away. So I could see Green Suns going down. Maybe if I was playing something like Qasali Pride Mage, that might be a card that I want to get quite aggressively with Green Suns. The old one-lander Flusterstorm, we can go and get Dryad Arbor. I don't think this is a keep. I think we really want to make sure we have at least 2 or 3 mana. I don't want to, you know, draw 2 spells and then just not really have anything to do on our turn. So I'm happy to mulligan this. This is a bit better. We can keep this and bottom the Dryad Arbor. And then we have some nice plays. We have Pithing Needle for Sneak Attack. We have Collector Ouphe for Lotus Petal. We'll see what they do with this Preordain as well. Probably don't want to 6 here as well, because that just gives away that we don't have any sort of free counter magic like Force of Will or Force of Vigor. However, we're probably not going to be forcing anything turn 1, so there's also the thought that, hey, maybe they're just 6ing because they know they're not going to force anything this turn. 2 cards on top. Kind of scary. Another Verdant. Okay. Let's go for Trop into Needle. I'm going to name Sneak. Land pass. Something like a Force of Will or a Force of Negation would be nice. Ice-Fang's interesting because it can cycle itself. I think Collector Ouphe is just better here. Turning off Lotus Petal is pretty nice. Brainstorm's okay. See, maybe even here I'm supposed to play the Ice-Fang and try to draw into Force of Will or Force of Negation. Because when your opponent on Sneak and Show is at 3 mana, that's when it's pretty scary. Preordain is fine. With Lotus Petal turned off, it means they're not going off this turn unless they have a Soul Land. like City of Traders or Ancient Tomb. Brainstorm's okay. One on top, one on bottom with Preordain, and now they're looking at a fresh 3 with Brainstorm. So I'd assume a fetch land's coming down here. Brazen Borrower, interesting. Definitely playing a land. Definitely attacking. I think here I just like holding up Borrower and Ice-Fang Coatl. So I could try to Ice-Fang into Flusterstorm. Could also try to Ice-Fang into a blue free spell that we could pitch Oko to. I think we're definitely fetching. Probably just getting a snow-covered land. I think it's best to cycle here. I don't think just putting in the Ice-Fang and then drawing a card is good enough. It does mean we don't hold up Brazen Borrower, but I guess if their play is Omniscience into Cunning Wish, we could try to bounce the Omniscience, but they most likely have just a free counterspell in hand for that. I don't think my opponent would show until here without some sort of counter magic, so I think that Ice-Fang is just the best play here. Ice-Fang into blue card. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, that worked out really well. Oko, interesting. I'm going to hold the land because then at least it can look like we have Force and blue card. Days. Well, there we got punished. Just a pass from our opponent. Interesting. Ice-Fang. Probably attack first. Nice. Play a land and pass. Hold up Brainstorm. Probably no reason to Brainstorm here. Happy to untap. Astrolabe. Kind of a free spell. Veil's quite nice. I wonder if I just want to hold up Brazen Borrower. Because then we can have lethal next turn. And wow, we get there. What was the next 3? Nothing too good. So luckily we get there against Show and Tell. And I think the big play there was actually going for that the Ice-Fang beforehand to draw a card. which obviously worked out pretty well. And maybe that was just the correct line all along, and I just didn't really realize how correct it was. But really nice to hit the force there, stop the show and tell, and just beat down. So we'll see you for the next match.